Okay, all right. Oh, nice shooting, Tex.
G'day, welcome back to Wallet Customs. Today we're in my fourth installment of life-size Ghostbuster props made from Lego, the Neutrona wand. Also known as the particle thrower, proton blaster, a proton gun, a positron collider, or a proton wand, or as I used to call it as a kid, the Ghostbusters gun.
Let's show this prehistoric bitch how we do things downtown. Nimble little minx, isn't she?
We better go full stream.
Aim for the flat top!
I'm going to cut straight to the chase with this one. I'm not going to mess about with videos of where it's seen in the movies, because if you've gotten this far and you know Ghostbusters, you know what this is. You know where you've seen it. But one little tidbit of information I thought was fun to share is Dan Aykroyd appearing as Ray Stantz, the Ghostbuster, in another non-Ghostbuster movie, Casper the Friendly Ghost. He appeared as Ray Stantz running out of a house, which I assume was haunted by Casper. I have not seen that movie, so I can't tell you.
Who are you gonna call? Someone else.
But anyway, let's get into it.
Got your stick. Oh! Heat him up!
So like some of the other Ghostbuster props I've made, I used replicas to compare it to, so this was no different. And it was very helpful in this case because there's so many little bits of detail and information I tried to capture in the Lego version. Close up, you can see I've captured all the details from the original that I could. And with all the props I've made, I tend to either try and capture the details possible one-to-one, or scale it up slightly if need be, or remove it completely if it's too small and not achievable with Lego. So in this case, this little valve knob here, which is slightly bigger than the real thing, and small, very minor detail that I've had to exclude just because it wasn't possible in Lego without being too bulky. So you've got to make those concessions when you're building something like this, where you've got to decide, is it worth keeping this detail, and is this detail imperative to capturing the shape and look of a recognizable piece of equipment like this. The biggest challenge for this build would have to be those handles sticking out on either end. They're quite long and protruding, and trying to get that round shape to match the profile of the real thing, as well as have that handle shape, as well as being held through the middle strongly, was a bit of a challenge. And it's not quite as strong as I'd like it to be, but it got there in the end. I had to sort of choose between aesthetics and getting it as visually accurate as possible, and strength. So in this case, aesthetics won out. So it is holdable, but it's not quite as strong as, say, the trap, for example, or the goggles, which in their own right aren't perfectly stable either. Having Lego protrude out like that, and each connection point you make with Lego is a chance for flex and movement. In this case, being held together by one long axle and multiple connection points along the way just gives it a little bit of sag, which you probably can't see, but I can feel it, and I know about it when I hold it. I feel it fiddling and moving around in my hands a little bit. But apart from that minor fragility, I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out. One of the bits I'm fairly happy with, I'm not terribly happy with how fragile it is, but I'm pretty happy with how it visually looks, is this umbilical cord that runs out to the back of the proton pack. And some of the details I've tried to include is the little switches and meters on the side here. Flicking that lever up is supposed to pop out the barrel when it's armed to fire, which you see a few times in the movies. In a few cases I've had to change colours, so these aren't the correct colours for these wires coming out here, but they're the closest approximation I had in my collection. We've got the little hat lights. We've got the vents on top there, the heat sink on the side, which I always found a bit odd with the actual proton pack, because heat sinks generally are made to dissipate heat. And in both the case of the real replica and the Lego version, obviously they're all black, which black retains heat. So I'm not sure how that's supposed to work in the real world of Ghostbusters, that is.
There's something very important I forgot to tell you.
What?
Don't cross the streams.
Why?
It would be bad.
I'm fuzzy on the whole good-bad thing. What do you mean bad?
Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Total protonic reversal.
All right, that's bad. Okay. All right, important safety tip. Thanks, Egon.
This is my Neutrona wand. There are many like it, but this one's mine.
Go. Ray.
Be gone.
Hope you enjoyed this look at my life-size Ghostbuster Neutrona wand. I've got more videos coming of more life-size Ghostbuster props and more Ghostbuster Lego stuff in general, so stay tuned for that. And if you haven't already, check out my videos for my Ghost Trap, PKE meter, and Ecto goggles. Thanks for watching.
What the hell are you doing?
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm sorry. We thought you were someone else.